Greetings, boils, ghouls, and all of the macabre manner of being. It's your old buddy Oxleymations here again, and for today's video topic, I figured I would dig into the old box of yesteryear and try and find something for us to look at and enjoy. So, without further ado, I present to you the box of yesteryear. Now then, let's see what I can dig up. What have we here? Well, bless my little black heart. If it isn't the Ninja Turtles, decked out and dressed up as their favorite Universal monsters for Halloween. Let's take a closer look, shall we? As you can see here, we have in fact the full gang. Leonardo, the leader, Michelangelo, the party dude, Donatello, who does machines, and Raphael, who's cool but rude. And as you can see, my set here is unfortunately actually incomplete. Donatello doesn't have any of his accessories, and Wolfman Leo here is even missing an arm, if you missed that the first time. But they are mine, and I love them, because they're little, they're awesome, and the best thing about these, they glow in the dark. Raphael here, he's literally a glow-in-the-dark piece of plastic. Leonardo, his entire shirt and his fangs and his eyeballs, I believe, and his toe claws and his finger claws all glow, and highlights on these two do as well. Now, when it comes to these figures, they have your standard, typical Ninja Turtle articulation. I'll use Leonardo here to demonstrate because he's the easiest one to stand up. They have the articulation at the head. You can turn it around like that. At the arms, thusly. His arms are a little stiff from the paint. And obviously at the elbow. Well, elbows, if he would have had both of his. And also at the hips. And they all have the same standard articulation. For some reason, during the 1990s, there was a renaissance, if you will, of the old Universal monsters. Children were clamoring for the Boris Karloff Frankensteins, the Bela Lugosi Draculas, and the Bela Lugosi and/or Boris Karloff the mummies. Lon Chaney as the Wolfman. Each figure came with accessories that represented the character that the characters were portraying, if that makes sense. We had Michelangelo with his nunchaku, which are actually a pair of bolts that have been chained together, and the chain that he tore from the floor when he lumbered out of Victor Frankenstein's laboratory. And for whatever reason, even though in the film the monster feared fire, Frankenstein Mikey has the torch. Can't get them all accurate. And then of course we have Dracula Donatello. And I'm sure at this point most of you are just about sick to death of vampires and the word Dracula after my review. But here we have Donatello as Dracula. Originally, this figure would have come with a pendant that you could put on a piece of string and wear around your neck. A bow staff that would have showed off two big plastic bats that were like molded into it on the ends. And a couple other accessories that I can't think of right now because, well, they made so many of these silly little Ninja Turtle figures between 1988 and 1997 and beyond that it is literally almost impossible to keep track of. And then we have Raphael as either Boris Karloff's The Mummy or Bela Lugosi's The Mummy. This particular figure came with what I'm assuming to be the Staff of Ra, or at least the turtleified version. And it's got a weird little snake head on the top. He also came with this fancy little dagger, which I believe in the movie was actually supposed to be used for nefarious purposes, which I shan't get into here. Let's just say that the traditional sacrifice of virgins was involved using that particular little blade, or would have been if the heroes of the film hadn't put the kibosh on that. So anyways, we jump over here to Leonardo as Lon Chaney's the Wolfman, who regrettably, as I stated before, is missing an arm, and his bandana has been snapped off at some point in the last 20-odd years. He would have come with, I believe, a shotgun, a bear trap, and a couple of other accessories that I can't think of right now off the top of my head. Because, well, let's face it, folks, when it comes to the Ninja Turtles, there are just too many to go off of. And now, one thing I will mention is there was actually a second series of these figures that were released by Playmates Toys back in the day. Those figures included a different version, it was a different version of Raphael as the mutant. He was like this weird space alien creature with a giant brain that was like just swelling the top of his head and looked strange. Then there was April O'Neil as the bride of Frankenstein, Michelangelo. There was a creature from the Black Lagoon, Leonardo. I don't know why, but the Leonardo got like the best characters to portray in that series. And then there was an Invisible Man Michelangelo, which I've got to say was an awesome looking figure. Essentially, picture Michelangelo, but his head and hands, I believe, no, his hands were all wrapped up like mummy Raphael's, but his head was made entirely in clear plastic, with just his bandana painted on. And he had this awesome little accessory, which was a mask that you could clip on around his head to more accurately portray the guy from the original 1930s, the Invisible Man. Not to be confused with the remake that had Kevin Bacon, I want to say, as the guy who was the Invisible Man. Regardless, unfortunately, as you can tell, I do not own those figures yet, but if I can track them down by next Halloween, they will definitely be on the countdown. So stay tuned for that in the future. And as a quick bonus, there's not nearly enough content to stretch this out for an entire episode, so I'm going to put these guys on the back burner, and I'm also going to review a not actually Halloween, but a cool, spooky toy. Be right back, folks. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, also making a guest appearance for this particular show, and also from the box of yesteryear, I bring forth to you the one and only, let's see if I can get him on screen, X-Ray Wretch, the evil brother and arch-nemesis of one Stretch Armstrong. You see, it wasn't only the Universal Monsters who were having a resurgence of popularity in the 90s. For whatever reason, a little company known as Cap Toys got a hold of the rights to recreate Stretch Armstrong, which I'm now holding within my hands. This is the mini-action variety. The original version was far larger. We're talking, well, I have one, but he's in terrible shape, but the original Stretch Armstrong would have been roughly about the size of X-Ray Wretch's packaging here. But anyway, without further ado, we're gonna open this bad boy up. And before any of you out there who are like, no, don't open it, the packaging still being complete in the box, that's where all the value's at. I already took the liberty of opening this thing up about 5 years ago or so. So we're just going to re-exhume him, old X-Ray Wretch, so we can re-examine the little bugger. As you can see, sorry again about all the crinkling, this little guy is obviously the same size as Stretch Armstrong, and these guys were made in this scale because this scale was popularized by none other than the one and only Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Obviously, this is Master Splinter and not one of the Turtles, but the Turtles had basically popularized this scale. Okay, they don't quite scale with the Ninja Turtles, but the Ninja Turtles did have stretch figures, so I'm counting this as valid fact. Excuse me, Splinter. Anyways, the reason why I bring up X-Ray Wretch is, well, if it wasn't obvious, look at the face on this little jerk. Look at that. He literally has a grinning skull for a face. Not to mention the fact that he is technically see-through. I imagine back in his heyday when he was brand new that you would actually be able to see through his rubber exterior a bit more easily. But that is not why we're bringing this guy to the forefront today. No, you see, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot that these figures do not stand on their own for a second. Silly me. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, this little fella has a spectacular, or should I say spooktacular, little action feature. We open up his little chest plate here, like so. And if you look on his backpack that comes included, and if you've opened this up previously and put batteries into the little battery compartment back here, you press that little button on top and ba-da-ba-ba-ba, spooktacular. You can suddenly see his rib cage and his bones inside. Isn't that horrifying? Ooh. So Wretch here obviously came with his little harness and backpack. He came with these lovely little neon orange goggles. He also came with some macabre little accessories, and I might be overusing that word, but the heck with it. It's Halloween. Let me have my fun. He also came with this meat hook, used presumably to stab and tear Stretch Armstrong's flesh open. And on the other end of this meat hook, we get a chainsaw, which I presume is also for the rendering of Stretch Armstrong's flesh and making his corn syrup run red. We also get a nice little missile launcher, which I have yet to put any of the stickers on, along with his vest, but the stickers I still have. Brand new, never used. Anyway, he comes with this little missile launcher. So you plug in the missile like so. And let me just take a look at the back of the box so I can get the names of these accessories. His X-ray cannon with gamma-tipped missile, which it appears is actually supposed to go this way, like so. And then his combo, and I am reading this word for word, his combo surgical chainsaw and meat hook. So I got the meat hook right. So what you're supposed to do, if you were a kid back in the 1990s, and so that you know that I'm not just messing with you, right there, surgical chainsaw and meat hook, and the gamma cannon, X-ray cannon with gamma projectile, and of course the little collectible trading card of the figure, because they did that a lot back in the 90s. Also, before I continue talking about him, I just have to take another moment to discuss this packaging, because I mean, look at that artwork. Would X-Ray Wretch not make a good Batman villain? Look at that face. Also, speaking of Batman, if you notice right there, the Dark Avenger Stretch Armstrong. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And also, regarding the Ninja Turtles, we also had Ninja Fetch and his owner, Ninja Stretch. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. We're supposed to be talking about spooky things. Ooh, spooky, ah. So, as I was saying, what you were supposed to do back in the 90s was actually attach this gamma cannon to the side of his vest, somewhat thusly. Let me see if I can get it without doing any damage. Pop on there. There we go, somewhat. You'd pop his cannon onto him like this. Then, of course, you would take his surgical chainsaw and meat hook combination thingy, and you would move his arm up like this, and you would clip that into place thusly. And then Wretch would go chasing after our hero, Stretch Armstrong. Going about his business, and then, "Oh, hello there again, Stretch. It is I, your evil brother and nemesis, X-Ray Wretch. Oops-a-daisy, you look like you could use a haircut." No. And then as Stretch is getting away, he's running away, and then Wretch comes in and blammo! And Stretch is down for the count. And by the way, can I just mention something? they don't make projectile launchers like they used to. I mean, look at this. Ready? Shield your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, because here we go. Haha, and I did not lose it because I see right where it landed over there. But anyway, he X-Ray Wretch would charge after Stretch Armstrong, and if he missed him with the projectile launcher, Stretch would be like, haha, missed me, friend. And I'd be like, I'm not your friend, guy. And he's like, you're not my guy, friend, and so on and so forth. And so X-Ray Wretch could just wield his wonderful little gadgets and get Stretch under the arm and rip him in half. So yes, ladies and gents, you just watched a 31-year-old man play with rubber action dolls on his original 1988 or 89, I forget which, 1990 Ninja Turtles play table. Well, thank you all so much for coming back and enjoying my video. I do hope you've appreciated it. And for the time being, we're going to put our little plastic friends here back into the box of yesteryear. It's been fun, Stretch. Adios, Stretch. And don't forget your chainsaw. And remember, ladies, gentlemen, boils, ghouls, and all other macabre manner of being, to enjoy the daylight.